It's the most wonderful time of the year. With the kids jingle bells.
Merry Christmas!
Looks like Martha Stewart threw up in here.
This is delicious, honey.
It's a little dry.
Well, mine's delicious.
Mine's dry.
Do you want to trade?
It's
Christmas. It's Christmas. It's Christmas.
with those holiday greetings and gifts.
How we were going to survive Christmas with 12 people stuck in a house with no heat and no electricity.
Or food.
There's plenty of leftovers, Howard.
Beer it is.
It's the weirdest thing. There's no cars, no people.
How long can this keep up?
We heard something on the roof.
The hell's this?
Saint Nicholas is not coming this year. Instead, a much darker, ancient spirit.
Those are hooves. Elk or a goat?
What kind of goat walks on its hind legs?
His name is Krampus. He and his helpers did not come to give, but to take.
Everybody, hold on to each other.
He is the shadow of Saint Nicholas.
It's Christmas. Nothing bad's gonna happen on Christmas.
Hello everyone, I am Sean and welcome once again to my Horror Corner. As always, open the same way. Thank you all so much for watching the video today. I really do appreciate you taking time out of your day to watch my video and listen to me for the next 20 to 30 minutes talk about horror movies. I love them. You know, horror movies are my passion, and so thank you for joining me along that. And a special thank you to anyone who has subscribed so far. I really do. Your support means so much to me. Thank you so much for subscribing. That means more than I could possibly really explain or acknowledge. So thank you to my subscribers, and thank you to everyone watching today. We are going to continue along with holiday horror that we've been doing for the last little over a month now. And today we are going to talk about Krampus. I will say I've seen this movie probably once a year since it came out back in 2015. So it is definitely on my Christmas watch list that I watch every year. But let's get into some things about Krampus. We're going to jump right in today and talk about this one a little bit. Krampus was released December 4th of 2015, directed by Michael Daughtry, written by Todd Casey, Michael Daughtry, Zach Shields, produced by Thomas Tull, John Joshi, Alex Garcia, and Michael Daughtry, edited by John Axelrod, cinematography done by Jules O'Loughlin, music by Douglas Price. Production companies were Legendary Pictures and Zam Pictures. It was distributed by Universal Pictures, has a runtime of 98 minutes, a budget of $15 million, and at the box office made $61.5 million. So again, based on what I talk about every single time, you know, for a movie to truly be successful, it needs to make 3 times its budget. This one did that. In fact, it almost did, I guess really it did about 4 times its budget. So a successful film at the box office. And something else that I want to add, I've thought about doing this each time I do one of these, and I haven't really done so yet, is the Rotten Tomatoes score. So for Krampus, Rotten Tomatoes critics give the score 66%. Which I'm surprised, to be honest with you, it's a little bit that high. It doesn't seem like the type of film to me that critics would really enjoy. And I get that 66 is not, you know, some mind-blowing number, but it was a little high. Critics at 66% enjoying this movie. The audience, on the other hand, was at 52%. And I'm surprised that's as low as it is, because most people that I've talked to about Krampus seem to enjoy this film. Now, this score on Rotten Tomatoes gives you more of the idea that it's really half and half as far as what people think about this movie. And I get that. It's not the kind of movie that would be for everyone. I can tell. I'm typically not big on horror comedies in general. They're okay, but just typically not some of my favorites. So I can understand when someone doesn't like a horror comedy. Um, but I just had been under the impression that this movie was a little more popular than it actually was. Once I saw this audience score, I was like, oh, it's not as liked as I thought it was. But yeah, 66% from critics, 52% from the audience, according to Rotten Tomatoes. Cast for this film, we have, and again, terrible with names. I'm sure you know that by now. MJ Anthony as Max, Adam Scott as Tom, Toni Collette as Sarah, David Kosher as Howard, Allison Tolam as Linda, Conchita Farrell as Aunt Dorothy, Stefania Owen as Beth, Krista Stadler as Omi, and then Luke Hawker played Krampus as far as any work that was done in the suit, and Gideon Emery did Krampus's voice. If you don't know the premise for Krampus or the story for Krampus, I'm just going to sum this up for you here real quick as far as what the basic plot is for the film. It says, while the holiday season represents the most magical time of the year, European folklore warns us of Krampus, a horned beast who punishes naughty children at Christmas time. Family squabbling causes young Max to lose his Christmas spirit, and soon Krampus is released. Now that Max and his family must bond together to survive the holiday monster. That's the basic plot for the movie Krampus. Just a couple of things before I actually get into that plot and walk through it and give you my opinion of it. Like I said, I've always tried to come up with some stuff behind the scenes. The concept for this film began back in 2011. Again, Michael Daughtry, who is the director and helped write the film, produce the film, that kind of thing. He was wanting to make a Christmas horror movie. Wow, Christmas horror. We won't talk about that. He was wanting to make a Christmas horror movie back in 2011, but was just having a hard time getting his idea on paper and exactly what he wanted to do. About that time, he got a e-card from some friends that had Krampus on it, and he was immediately sold. He absolutely loved the e-card, loved the look of Krampus, loved the folklore, loved the idea, and that's when he began putting together and writing this story. Did take a little bit of time. Again, he got with some other people for them to actually get it all worked out and finished out. But yeah, Krampus all beginning back in 2011, and the result of an e-card. I remember getting e-cards back in the day. I haven't got one in a long time, but those were interesting. So, but kind of a fun fact there for you on how this movie came about. And it did release some, for those of you who liked collecting, not just the movie's physical media, but other things that come along with it. Krampus had a few things come out after the success of the film. A original novel was published for Krampus. There was a comic book series. Trick or Treat Studios has several, I say several, two or three Krampus masks that you can get. There were statues, pins, and Spirit Halloween even had a Krampus animatronic at one time, and may still in some of their stores. I don't think I saw that one this year, but I remember seeing it in the past. So, some stuff out there to collect if you're a collector and a fan of this movie and just like collecting horror merchandise. Krampus has some things out there. The movie was also nominated for a Best Horror Film Award at the Empire Awards and then again at the Saturn Awards. Please forgive me for yawning. Sunday afternoon, you start getting sleepy, right? But yeah, there's just a few things from behind the scenes of Krampus. But now let's kind of get into the plot, start to walk through it, and I'll talk about my opinion of this movie and things happening in this movie. I do like the opening. For the opening of the film, we kind of get the Christmas setup. You've got Bing Crosby playing with. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. You see people in a mall and shopping, and it looks like Christmas. It's doing a good job of setting the stage, and then we also see things kind of start to go chaotic as people are fighting and arguing, and things breaking out, and just some chaos happening there in the film as well. But it's a fun opening. I think it's setting the stage well for a horror comedy, and it's it's a good opening to the film. I did enjoy this little opening thing that we get here, and then from there we start getting our introduction to the characters. We find Max, a young boy who very much believes in Santa, very much is into the Christmas holiday, very excited. He's writing a letter to Santa. His grandmother lives with he and his parents and his sister, and she also seems to be very big on Christmas and tradition, and so he's enjoying talking to her and about the different things they're going to do for Christmas. Whereas the mother and the father, they seem a little worn out by the holiday. Sister, I mean, she's fine, but it's a pretty good introduction, and then we really get um, kind of into the heart of where everything's going to go wrong. As again, Toni Collette, who plays the mother, Sarah, her family shows up for the holiday. We have her sister Linda, her husband Howard, their three kids, Howie Jr., Stevie, Jordan, and I say three kids. I also had a baby, so I guess four kids. And then they bring along Aunt Dorothy, and Aunt Dorothy is my favorite character in this movie. I really enjoy Aunt Dorothy. She's so funny, and provides some great comic relief at times in this movie, and it's just overall very funny in this film. So I really do enjoy the character of Aunt Dorothy in this movie. But you're just getting a good introduction to each one of the characters. Not a lot of backstory, but just enough to kind of give you an idea about the kind of people you're dealing with. And I think it's done pretty well. As the family sits down to eat dinner, Max's cousins get a hold of this letter that he wrote to Santa. They don't believe in Santa, and so they're making fun of him and giving him a hard time. And then they get into where he actually even talks about them a little bit in his letter. And so they get irritated with him, and then chaos again happens from there as Max wants his letter back. He's upset with them. People are arguing. There's all kinds of stuff happening. Max gets angry and lashes out and mentions that he hates his family. He takes his letter upstairs. He tears it up, throws it out the window, and this is kind of what sets things up that are to come. Again, still not a bad opening or a bad movie, going at a decent pace. Decent introduction to everyone. But I will say here at this point, I do find myself, again, I really like the character of Aunt Dorothy. I like Tom and Sarah, Max's parents. Um, the sister, Beth, is fine. Um, the grandmother, Omi, is fine. Max is okay. But the extended family that shows up, Howard, while he's funny, is also obviously a jerk. It's just the rest of the little group there, Linda, Howie Jr., Stevie, and Jordan. I did not like this group. I did not think these were likable characters at all, and I don't think they're supposed to be likable characters. I mean, you're kind of supposed to not. They're what causes the problem, right? They're the ones kind of getting in and disrupting everything, along with Howard. So I get it that you're not necessarily supposed to like him, but whereas Howard, even though you don't like him, you do find him funny. The rest of this group is not even funny. And they're kind of annoying characters that you want to. I mean, I find myself now, I know what's happening, but the first time I saw this movie, I can, if people are going to get killed by this monster, can we wipe this group out first? Can we get rid of this lady and her three kids and get them out of the picture? Because everybody else in the movie seems a little bit likable, or at least are funny, whereas this group is just annoying. Um, that was my thoughts on, as we get this introduction to each one of the characters. But moving on from there, I do think the cinematography for this film is very good. After they all go to bed that night, after all of this chaos, we have this big blizzard, we have this power outage, and I think the cinematography looks very good for the film. I think it's shot well. I like where we're going with it, even though some of the characters annoy me. Overall, I'm enjoy the film. When I saw it the first time in theaters, I enjoyed it a lot more than I expected, um, and really look forward to watching it again. Now that I mean, it's part of my Christmas watch list. I watch Krampus every year in December at some point, um, and I don't see that changing anytime soon. But I have found my opinion on it come down just a little bit. Overall, still a lot that I enjoy, but after seeing it 9 times, my opinion has come down just a little bit, and I think a lot of it is based on some of these characters here. They're just every time I watch it, I find them more and more less likable. I guess is how I would put that. But we have Beth, the sister. She's concerned with the power being out and the weather. She's concerned about her boyfriend. Her parents finally decide to let her walk down to her boyfriend's house to check on him. That kind of blows my mind. I mean, I know telling her no probably would have caused a lot of issues. I know how difficult teenagers can be. I've raised some myself, but just I cannot imagine parents letting their teenage daughter go out in this kind of storm and walk, to especially alone down the road when this kind of thing is taking place. So that part I didn't find very believable. It was kind of like, okay, whatever. But again, not enough to really take me out of the film. I just don't buy that scene. However, I do enjoy then though Beth's attack because as she's walking to her boyfriend's house, she's hearing a lot of noises, she's seeing things, and then we get to see Krampus kind of hopping from house to house, and I think that looks really good. The Krampus monster looks good. Again, it's shot well. I think this looks good. She's scared. She's trying to get away. She hides under a vehicle. There ends up being a Jack in the Box by the vehicle, and as it goes off on its own, then we do hear her scream and realize something has happened to Beth at this point. When she doesn't come home, Tom and Howard decide to go out and search for her. So now they're out looking for her and wanting to check on her. They go down to the boyfriend's house to see what's happening, and they find the house, very much in disarray. It's obvious that something has gone wrong there, and there's some good comedy in this as well. Howard gets attacked by some gingerbread men. There's, again, some good comedy going on here, and still the pacing is pretty good, and I still find myself enjoying the film, even after seeing it so many times up to this point. I just find it to be kind of fun, a good, fun Christmas horror film. Um, Tom and Howard get back to the house. They also kind of come across an unforeseen, an unseen monster in the snow as Howard almost gets dragged away, and they manage to, Tom manages to help him, and they get back to the house. And so now they're telling everybody what's going on, what they've seen, what's happening. Everyone's becoming, very shaken, very scared, worried about Beth. What in the world's going on? Still not bad. Um, Everyone decides to get some rest, and Howard's going to take first watch, but he falls asleep, and then we get a larger gingerbread man that seems to attack Howie Jr. through the chimney and drags him up. Of course, this wakes everybody up, but they're not able to save him. And finally, one of those annoying characters is gone. So, but I will say here, and I don't really remember thinking this the first time I saw the movie. I wasn't really catching it, and maybe even the second time. But I have noticed that the film, you're noticing a pattern here. If you're not seeing kills, you're not seeing anything happen to these characters other than they're either being taken away or you're just hearing them scream and assuming that they're being killed off camera. But we're not actually seeing that happen. So um, that'll come into play later when we get to the ending of the film. But just something I wanted to point out. Because I kind of watch for it now that I know how the film ends. I'm this time, especially when I watched it this morning, getting ready to prepare for this. I'm watching it and I'm like, do we see these people actually get killed? And as I'm starting to pay attention, I'm like, no, we really don't. But yeah, just something there. And then we have Omi's explanation of Krampus. This is where the film hits its one moment of starting to drag, in my opinion. I know why it's there. Omi apparently has had this kind of experience before with a rough family and a lot of disbelief, and people not into the Christmas spirit, and Krampus attacking her family when she was young and then sparing her. So she's been through all of this, and she's recognizing this and trying to reveal to people that this is Krampus and who Krampus is and what's happening. Whereas a lot of people then, they're trying to decide, is she crazy? What's going on with her? Um, but I just feel like this part started to drag a little bit, and it was shot differently and shown differently, and I think it was supposed to look really cool. It just didn't land for me. So this is kind of a lull in the movie, and the first time I find myself being taken out. Now, again, having seen the movie so many times, that's fine. I mean, I can drift off for a few scenes and mind can wander or whatever, and it's okay because I've seen the rest of it. But watching it now and seeing that part, I'm like, this is a little slow. This is dragging a little bit, and I can see people losing interest in this film to a certain degree because of that. Now, maybe that's just my opinion. Maybe somebody out there really enjoys the way they did this, but for me, it was the one lull there, kind of in the middle of the movie. Um, and then we do get some more attacks. Jordan is attacked by a Jack in the Box, and she vanishes. We discover that Krampus has elves. They attack the house, and we see Howard, Aunt Dorothy, and the baby all get dragged away. But again, we're not seeing anything happen to these characters other than them just being taken away. Um, Tom decides, he's got to get everybody to safety. They're not safe in the house anymore. They got to get out of there. He has seen a snowplow when he and Howard were out looking for Beth, so he wants to try to get everyone to the snowplow and use that to get away to be safe. Omi decides to stay behind to confront Krampus. She's going to make the sacrifice and try to distract Krampus so the rest of the family can get away. Probably supposed to be somewhat heartwarming. I don't find it that heartwarming. I mean, it's fine that she did what she did, and I know it bothers Max and maybe even bothers Tom to a degree, but again, it's just there. It is what it is. We're still kind of at that lull moment, in my opinion, here in the film. But then it kind of picks back up because now as the family's trying to escape and get to the snowplow, we see Tom, we see Linda, we see Sarah all get attacked and they are dragged away in the snow. Again, not seeing them be killed, we're just seeing them be taken away. And then these elves end up taking Stevie and also getting away. And so now Max is left by himself. He follows, he ends up confronting Krampus. Krampus reveals to Max he's got the torn up Christmas letter there, and he reveals to Max that this is Max's fault, that he is attacking because of Max losing that Christmas spirit. Max apologizes. He wants to take it back. He wants his family back, and you know apologizing. And you get a moment where you almost feel like Krampus is sympathizing with Max, like maybe he's starting to believe Max and going to give him another chance. And then just as quickly, Stevie gets dropped down this huge hole, and then Max is also thrown into this hole. And so for a moment, you're thinking, okay, everyone has now met their demise. However, Max awakes the next morning. He's in his bed. He goes downstairs and finds his family, and now he thinks maybe he just had a nightmare, that everything's okay, and he just had a nightmare and everyone's fine. Uh, they're opening presents, everyone's talking, everyone seems happy. It seems like a good Christmas. And while they're opening presents, they find this ornament that Krampus had given to Max before, and now suddenly everyone's expression changes. You kind of get the idea here that the family, even though they're all back and they're together, it wasn't just Max's dream that this happened and that this really did happen, and everyone is now remembering what really did happen the night before. And then as the screen starts to fade away, you notice that this family is in their home, but they're in a snow globe, and there are thousands of snow globes, and Krampus is watching them all. And that kind of gives to the ending of this movie has been debated and talked about quite a bit. People wondering what that meant. Was there a happy ending? Did Max get his family back and everyone's okay, or are they all trapped in this snow globe and stuck to repeat this day for the rest of their lives? Like, what exactly does this ending mean? And it's hard to really find. The director himself, even though he had hinted at wanting a happy ending for Max and his family, he also left it open for people to kind of interpret it the way ever they wanted, and thought that was a good way to end it. And I kind of agree. I like that it's open for interpretation, and you get a lot of different discussions and things being talked about. I think that's one of the fun parts of the movie, is the way it ends, to kind of then see what everybody thinks really did happen. I did a little more research this morning, kind of trying to figure it out myself and see what was going on. And kind of what I discovered was, in my opinion, from the different things I've read and different things that the director stated, my opinion of this film is, yes, Max did get the happy ending. He did get his family back. But the snow globe is just how Krampus keeps an eye, because there's obviously thousands of homes that he's keeping an eye on, and this is how he's keeping an eye on them. He's let them know through this ornament that he left there, that everyone's seeing and remembering, that he's watching, and even though they're given another chance, he's still watching. So they need to be careful. That's the impression that I get. Maybe these snow globes are like a portal. This is how he gets to everyone, or this is just the way he keeps an eye on them, that kind of thing. But that's my opinion of the ending of this film. I do wonder why, if it was Max's actions that caused everything, why Krampus attacked some of the people he attacked. I get anyone in this family that's having these issues. I get that attack, because they're, to a certain degree, all responsible for things getting so chaotic. But, best boyfriend, we don't know what was on with them. And so if Krampus is back because of Max, why is he attacking other families? Why did he attack the delivery driver that, they find his car out there in the beginning? I didn't really touch on that part in the walkthrough, but, there's a delivery truck out there that has delivered Christmas gifts, and that guy is gone, and obviously something has happened to him. Why is Krampus attacking some of these people if he's back because of Max? So there are a few plot holes there that it's nothing that really jumps out and ruins things for me, but there's enough of them there that does cause me to question a few things here and there, and can lead me to see why, some minor things of why maybe people don't like this film. Between those few plot holes, and between a small part of the cast there that I don't like, this movie has dropped a little for me. The first time I saw it, like I said, I really did enjoy it. Um, Maybe even the second and third time, and it's still in, like I said, my Christmas rotation. As of right now, this is one that I'll watch every year for Christmas. It has been for the last 9 years. I've watched this movie every year this time of year. Um, but it has dropped down a little bit as far as how much I enjoy it. And again, I think it's because there are some minor things there that bother me, and there's just a small group of the cast that are, and it's not the performances are bad, just a small group of characters that I'm not really fond of. Um, and again, I don't think you're supposed to be, but it's just a little much for me. And so those few things pull it down for me just a little bit. But overall, I do still enjoy this movie. I think it's a fun Christmas movie. Really enjoy the character of Aunt Dorothy, as I said, and then there's also some funny moments from Tom and from Sarah and from Howard. So it's fun. And I think the Krampus monster looks great. I think Krampus looks really good. I think the cinematography is good. I like the shots of the blizzard and some of the things, and I really do like the scene where you see Krampus hopping from house to house when he's in pursuit of Beth. So a lot of positives about this movie too. If I would have been doing ratings back then, the first time I saw it, I probably would have said that Krampus is a. I might would have gone 4 out of 5 back when I first saw this movie. I think now I'm going to bring it down just a little. I'm going to bring it down a half point. So I'm going to put it at a 3.5 out of 5 for me on Krampus. And, you know, for my rating scale, for those of you that maybe this is the first time you're watching me, I go 1 through 5. 5 is excellent, 4 is very good, 3 is good to average, 2 not good, 1 bad. And I would put it right between very good and good. Just a few things keep it from being very good, but it's a little better than average. So I'm going to say 3.5 out of 5 for Krampus. Let me know what you think. I want to know your opinion of the movie, your opinion of the end of the film as well. Do you agree with me that that's the way it was? Do you have a different take? Um, what do you think about these characters? Let me know what you think about Krampus. So leave me some comments. Let me know what you think about it. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do so. Subscribe to the channel. And again, and interact. I really do appreciate the interacting. Hit the like button, leave me comments, let me know what you think. And if you don't follow me on social media, please do so. You can find Sean's Horror Corner on Instagram, on Blue Sky, on TikTok. You can also find me on X, what used to be Twitter. It's just My Horror Corner there because Sean's Horror Corner is too many characters, but just My Horror Corner on Twitter. And then, like I said, Sean's Horror Corner on Blue Sky, Instagram, TikTok. So follow me on social media. I do try to follow back as much as possible. And I'm not. I try to get in and get caught up and follow back, but with work and things going on, especially this time of year, sometimes I miss a few things. So I do try. So follow me on social media, subscribe to the channel, like the video, leave me comments, let me know what you think about Krampus, and I will see you in just a few days, and we'll continue to talk some holiday horror. Thank you all so much. Have a great day.